Okay, so I'm back from a long break, a long YouTube break anyway. I've still been making art, but I have not made a video in a year. Actually, I think it might be a little bit more than a year. So so it's been a while. It was no one thing in particular that kept me off of YouTube for the past year, but it was a much needed break. We had a lot of family stuff going on, a lot of personal stuff going on, and I just needed the time off. I needed the time to do my own thing, to hang out with my family, work on my painting. So I'm ready to come back. So I thought I'd just jump back in and show you what my week looks like. It's not all that different than it used to be, but I'm definitely doing a lot more painting outside of my sketchbook. So I thought I would just jump right in, show you what my week looks like, and see how it goes. Okay, so we have a plan for today, and so there's a couple of things that we need to do today. Varnish a couple of paintings and list them so that people can purchase them. These are paintings that already are reserved for people. They're already done and they've already seen them and they know that they want to purchase them. I just have to varnish them so that they're ready to ship and then list them in my Etsy shop so they can actually send me the funds for them. And then I've been working on unusual projects lately, just trying out a bunch of stuff. And I did this little experiment the other day. I've been making stickers and I've been looking at a lot of Victoriana, like ephemera and things like that. A lot of those things from that time were die cuts, and it was a big inspiration for the stickers that I'm making. I thought, well, if I can do it in stickers, like, could I do it in a painting? Like, could I do, an entire, like a die cut painting? And so this is a painting that I started, and you can see it's like literally half finished. Like, I've got the acrylic underpainting on one side, and then I've got the oil painting over top on the other side. And I really want to finish this one, even though it's really rough and it's kind of just like a little experiment. I really want to finish it. That's what I want to do today. So I'm hoping that I can get so I can get that varnishing and listing done this morning, make lunch, take a little walk, and then finish this painting this afternoon. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do if I'm going to repaint this little painting is I need to remix my palette. And so because I painted it a few days ago, my palette is all dried up, or mostly dried up. So I have to take a look at this palette and try and recreate it so that I can get the same colors on the second half of the painting as I did on the first half. Okay, guys, so I had another early morning this morning. I got up really early and kind of my normal routine. I came in here, cleaned up the studio because when I left it last night, I left it kind of a mess. And that's kind of my thing. At the end of the day, I'm tired, and it's nice to know that I can just put my paintbrush down and just kind of walk out. And it's a nice way to start the day the next day because everything has a place. So it's kind of nice to just clean everything up, put it away, and it never takes that long. And I don't have to think about it because everything kind of has a place in here, which is really nice. So easy, quick sense of accomplishment to get that done first thing in the morning. But I have a little bit left to do, so I'm going to do that. But first I wanted to sit down and chat because my coffee's getting cold and I wanted to have some of that before that happens. But I think today what I want to do is make some progress on a painting that I have been avoiding for a little while. This one is actually one that I really, really love. It's one that I'm making not for a client, but just for myself. It was an idea that I had, and it was kind of at the time when I started it, it was like a really big challenge, or at least I saw it as a really big challenge for myself, to just sort of figure out whether or not I had the skills to kind of pull it off. So this is the painting. It's on an oak panel, which if you don't paint on wood, I don't know, it's my new thing. I really, really like it. I love the texture of it. I love it more than canvas. I actually really, really love painting on wood and allowing kind of the wood to show through. When I do my undercoat, when I do my kind of first layer of paint, I can sand it down and get it really, really smooth, but also kind of use that texture of like the sanded off paint in the painting. And so you kind of see that around the edges and even some of the wood coming through. So this painting this is oils. This is completely dry. I've done a couple of layers on it so far, and most of the elements are pretty far along. The main subject needs a lot of work. So that's the plan for today. But before that, I am going to, like I said, I'm going to have some coffee, and I think I'm going to go for a run in a little bit and spend my morning getting my Etsy orders done because I have a couple of things I need to get out to people today, and then we'll get to paint. Okay, so voiceover time. I wanted to use this time while I'm painting to kind of catch up on a couple of things and maybe talk a little bit about how my painting process has changed. Obviously, not been doing YouTube, but I have been doing a lot of painting, and mostly it was still painting in my sketchbook just because that's where I'm the most comfortable. But I have been challenging myself to paint outside of my sketchbook and do what I would consider kind of more, I want to say finished paintings, but I don't know what the right word is. Like more complicated compositions, less studies and of individual parts of a painting, and more fully composed. Like the biggest mind shift that I've had over the last year is that I like to think of my portraits as more like illustrations than just portraits. I think that's kind of helped me figure out the narrative, figure out kind of the feel of each painting. This pup happened to be from like the Philadelphia area, and so when I think about that area, I think about like the founding fathers, I think about the old city, Philadelphia, and I collect a lot of like older papers, like antique papers and things like that. A lot of them happen to be from that area, and so I was able to kind of go through some of my old paper scraps and really pull out some motifs and some designs that I thought would give this pup a portrait of like almost like he was there at like the signing of the Declaration of Independence, right? So he kind of has this proud look, like he's looking back at you like, yes, I'm important. I'm an important figure in history. So I think just being able to kind of pull all the elements together and tell a story is important to me. I also love the juxtaposition, guys. I love the juxtaposition, like painting and illustration and collage. This is going to be another tough one for me to describe. If you think about, if you're familiar with like the concept of junk journaling, and you probably have some idea of where I'm going with this. There's a piece of wallpaper in there, and there's like some kind of a certificate or like a bank note kind of thing. There's like that red kind of lacy looking border. There's some old papers with some old, old-timey kind of handwriting on them that are, and the edges are kind of curled up, and everything's got like a bit of a grungy look to it. Each element is just kind of layered in a way where they're all interlaced and they're all interacting, and hopefully they're all kind of relating to each other in the style of painting that I'm using. That's my chaotic brain's thought process behind putting together a painting like this one. They're all very different, but my brain kind of goes through that same process of like, what are the elements that'll come together to tell the story of this particular character or this particular situation that this character happens to be in. I'm really loving doing that, and it's giving me an opportunity to not only slow down and really think through what I want to portray in my paintings, but it's also giving me an opportunity to practice painting some really different elements, and those different elements are going to use different skills, and they take a different thought process, and all of that to say, like, my painting has definitely slowed down. Like, where I used to breeze through, a composition and a painting, a portrait painting in one sitting in just a couple of hours, like 2 or 3 hours, I'm now spending weeks and weeks and weeks. Like, I will spend more time just on thinking through the composition and looking for the right elements that I think will inspire the right narrative that I want to go for in the paintings. It's such a different process, and I'm so glad now that I'm taking the time to allow myself to kind of slow down and go through that process, because it makes painting just so much more enjoyable. Even though you don't have that immediate gratification of kind of having something done right away, finding time to figure out what it is that I really enjoy doing and where I really want to take my practice. It's really hot. I'm about to head out because I forgot that I have a hair appointment today, so my days all kind of mixed up. So I did my painting in the morning. I tried to do a reel today so that I'd have something to post on Instagram, but I'm getting my hair cut this afternoon, and it's just, I can't believe the day snuck up on me like that. So I gotta head out and do that, and then when I come back, I'll do my Etsy orders, and that's really boring today. So yeah, so that's my update for today, but I'll show you what I painted this morning, and then I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Okay, time to head home. Hey guys, so it's early. What day is it? It's Thursday. It's Thursday today. And I was just planning on what I need to do today, but I think today's going to kind of be a wash because we've got some people coming to the house to do some work, and I think it's going to be all day, and I think it's going to be really loud, and I think they're going to need access to this room. So unfortunately, I think I'm not going to get a ton of work done today unless I can just, I don't know, maybe I'll do some sketching. But I do need to clean up in here. I do need to pack a few orders to get them ready for mail pickup, and yeah, we'll see what happens today, but I don't have high hopes. What are you gonna do? Okay, I think I have a good option for this week's sticker. So I think this is a good option. I think I'm going to go with this one because I think it's going to look really good as a sticker. I'm always surprised some of the paintings, even if they're not like my favorite paintings, when you shrink them down and you die cut them and I touch them up a little bit in Photoshop. I don't know. They always surprise me, and I think they always look a little bit better than I expect them to. So let's see how this one does. Morning. Let me shut this door and turn on some lights. Okay, so this was my first week back after taking a year off, and taking a year off from YouTube was a really good thing for me. 2024 was a hard year. We lost some family members, just a lot going on personally. It meant that I had to pull back on just a lot of things. YouTube is unfortunately typically the first thing that I'll pull back on, just because it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it's not that it's not worth it, but family has to come first. So I took that time off, and I got into a really good rhythm of just painting and just going out and just doing more stuff. And so I think for me, it was definitely worth it. But at this point, I'm ready to come back, and I'm ready to kind of commit to start making more videos, vlogging more, and actually putting them out. So hopefully if you're thinking about putting out some videos, just know that there might not ever be a perfect time to do that, because just stuff happens, and it never stops happening, and you just got to kind of roll with it. And don't be afraid if you start to take a break and come back to it, because people understand that stuff happens, and you got to do what you got to do. Anyway, that was a lot of fun this week. It always feels like the week has gone so quickly and I haven't really gotten a lot done, but if I think back on it, I made a lot of progress on a couple of paintings. I finished a little painting, did some sketchbooking, made some stickers. We did kind of a lot of stuff this week, even though it was kind of interrupted in the middle. Next week, hopefully, I'm going to be able to go out and do some work remotely at like a secret location. But yeah, thanks for being here. I look forward to doing this more this year. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll see you next time.